I'm from the United Kingdom, where, in case you haven't noticed, there is a political revolution underway in a two-party system that was never supposed to have political revolutionaries. Well, today, Nigel Farage and the Reform Party are on 31% of the national vote, number one in the opinion polls, 10 points ahead of any other political party. Nearly 1 in 3 people in my country are currently planning to vote for reform. The question is, why? The answer is because they are being subjected to a political, social, cultural, and demographic experiment, which is exactly what it is. It's an experiment which they never voted for. They never asked for their country to be transformed in this way. They never asked for their culture to be radically overturned. Yet the established political parties on both the left and the right pressed on regardless. So what we are left with are some deeply concerning forecasts of where my country is going. By the year 2063, the white British majority will officially become a minority. Among the under 40s, it will happen as early as 2050. The foreign-born, people who are not born in Britain and their immediate descendants, will become a majority by the year 2075. And by the end of this century, 75 years from now, 1 in 3 of the under 40s in the United Kingdom will be following Islam. A child born today will live to see all of those changes. That is the pace and scale of change that my country is going to see. It's going to be unlike anything Britain has ever seen before. To give you one astonishing statistic, the United Kingdom has had more immigration in every single year since Tony Blair came to power in 1997, has had more immigration in every single year than we had during the combined 1,500 years between the Anglo-Saxons in the 5th century and the end of the Second World War. That is the scale of change that is taking place in the United Kingdom. Nobody voted for this. The people are voting reform because they have been subjected, I would argue, to 3 things. The first is the very deliberate policy of mass uncontrolled immigration, which is making our economy poorer, is dividing our society, is exacerbating our housing crisis, and is eroding our culture. The evidence is very clear. Even government departments now accept that the low-wage, low-skill, non-European migration that is now flooding into my country is a net fiscal cost. Every low-wage, low-skill migrant entering the United Kingdom costs the British taxpayer, on average, £465,000 over the course of their lifetime, according to the official Office for Budget Responsibility. It is a net fiscal cost. Our elites are also subjecting us to a policy of broken borders. Nearly 200,000 unvetted illegal migrants, mostly from Islamic nations, pouring into our country, despite our leaders knowing they have included Islamist terrorists, murderers, and rapists. Yet they are being put in the heart of our communities, next to families, schools, synagogues, at a cost of £15 billion in the coming years to the British people. Nobody ever voted for this. A nation that does not control its own borders is not a serious nation. And thirdly, we are being exposed to a policy of what I call 2-tier multiculturalism. One law for minorities, another law for the majority. The most horrific example of this is the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs, where our ruling class sacrificed hundreds of thousands of white British working class girls on the altar of diversity. They were too afraid of being called racist, Islamophobic, to find out what was happening to our own children in our own communities. And only this year could they be pushed into giving a national inquiry, to holding a national inquiry to get those girls and their families the truth and justice they deserve. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine for a minute organized gangs of white British men had gone into minority communities and had systematically raped young girls from minority backgrounds. Westminster would have been all over it. Two-tier multiculturalism demands that the majority either feel ashamed of who they are, or they redefine who they are around the global celebration of diversity, so that they no longer really exist at all. That is two-tier multiculturalism. The question is, how do you fix it? You fix broken Britain by doing the things that the Reform Party have committed to doing. We will leave the European Convention on Human Rights. We will repeal Tony Blair's Human Rights Act. We will end the policy of mass uncontrolled immigration. We will ban the Muslim Brotherhood. We will root out diversity, equality, and inclusion policies or woke ideology from taxpayer-funded public institutions, and we will ensure that our children and our university students are given a balanced perspective of our history and our culture. The state will go to war with reform. This will be Brexit, the sequel. It will be Project Fear 2.0. So we will radically overhaul the deep state. What is going to happen in the United Kingdom is going to look a lot more like Trump 2 than Trump 1. We will dramatically shrink the size of the state, slashing the number of civil servants. We will close unnecessary and large government departments, forcing civil servants to come back into the office. We will target hundreds of millions of pounds in savings, closing unnecessary and incompetent government departments like the Home Office. We will introduce a new civil service code, making officials in the state, in the Blob, directly accountable to government ministers, ensuring that they live up to their duty to implement government policy. We will reform the ministerial code in Westminster. We will give ministers the power to sack poorly performing senior civil servants. We will bring in outsiders from outside of the deep state, from business, from industry, from civil society. We will shrink and simplify our ministries. We will end judicial overreach by reforming existing legal conventions. We will leave the ECHR. We will put laws back where they belong in our national democracy, not distant, unaccountable institutions. We will place public sector trade unions under review. We will restore both houses of Parliament as genuine legislative bodies of scrutiny, and we will rebuild accountability within government departments, ensuring that ministers are doing what they are supposed to do, which is answering to voters, answering to tax-paying citizens. Fundamentally underlying that is the principle of returning power, authority, and legitimacy to where they belong, the people. Reform does not believe that power lies with groups of elites in Washington, Brussels, Paris, Rome. We believe that power belongs with the people. It is the people who will ultimately reform the state and take back political power, but it is also the people who will do what really needs to be done, which is save the United Kingdom. Thank you very much.